will be kicking off the play-in stage, but in 3 weeks' time, a winner will be crowned in this very arena.
Hopefully, we are live.
Are you guys ready for some League of Legends? Well,
now,
without further ado, let's
please
get this show on the road. MSI 2023
work
starts
for me,
right
Daddy. I really would like to see if I'm live. Here we go. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, I am a lot louder than that, which is good. Sup, we're live. We are going to be breaking down all 4 games, I believe, we get today for MSI. And, you know, I've just cycled home, so I'm very tired. I've just eaten my dinner, but I've got more food to eat and enjoy, as we're heading into our first game day, PSG DFM. We're watching it from the beginning, because obviously I haven't seen any of it. I've not spoilt myself at all for today. So, I might have actually just skipped forward all the way to draft, actually. Let's go from here. This seems to be a good place, because it's actually the intro again. So, I'm coming in fresh to this patch. I've heard that there's going to be a lot more changes coming after this, after MSI. But I'm really excited to see how this plays out. Now, I know who's casting this first series, and I'm really happy. But, you know, let's go. This is hype. Of course, every match is a best of 3 or better here in this tournament, which is nice because it's a bit of a tempo. You get to see multiple games between 2 teams. Some matches you don't get. I liked MSI last year where you got to see everyone face everyone, but it was kind of hindered because obviously GAM weren't involved last year. This is their second tournament in a long time, and that was pretty hyped to get us into game. If you don't know, I am actually off to MSI the semis, day before the finals. So I am in London for finals weekend. I'm excited for it. But England's not in Europe anymore. Referencing Kaboom. Nice. So it looks like they've only promoted the first series of the day. Like, their first matchups and none of the second matches yet. Which is kind of nice. I don't get why you've got subtitles on the English, but it's good for accessibility, I guess. That jersey looks dope, actually, for GAM. Oh, and the R7 one looks good. Honestly, apart from the SK jersey up there, their jerseys look so much better than any we've had this year. BLG just getting the final cover. Just give them all a view. Makes no sense why BLG get the big one.
Hello everybody and welcome. MSI is finally here. My name is Wood. I'm joined by Mark C. On behalf of everyone here in the Cop Box, welcome to London.
Finally we've got a Munchables international cast. Believe it or not, when I was doing the UKLC stuff, back when my channel first started in terms of League Analytics, he was actually covering a few of the games then. And so it's amazing to actually see how he has grown into an LPL mainstay. In fact, probably the mainstay of the LPL. It's been surprising that he hasn't had any international casting until this year, which is solid, in my opinion. Now, I guess we're getting into draft in a sec. And I'm intrigued to see what comes through, because this will build up expectations for the second match and possibly the third between these two teams. And I'm intrigued. Ooh, draft music. I feel they've gone a bit too heavy on the rap here for the UK sort of, what's it called, aspect of MSI. Because MSI last year, I think, had a bit alright with the music. It's not as good, but I've heard that, so that's another point. The stage looks amazing. The set, pretty dope. You've got the middle tunnel. Anyway, draft. Syndra, bit of a surprise one. But let's talk about it. Big LeBlanc band's coming out on Terraria. I think he's known for that pick overall, statistically speaking. A lot of things are very hit or miss, but there is some similarities between what we saw in Europe. The Vi, first pick priority, kind of locks down or negates people picking up Zeri. Jinx has kind of risen back into priority as the year has gone on. So it's nice to see her coming back into it. It's a bit of a weird draft coming out from DFM. I'm surprised that they locked in the Thresh third, because in theory you could have left open your support and used the Annie as a flex. I know Annie hasn't been as flexible as we hit the later patches into this year, but it surprises me. But Band's coming in for his second phase. Gwen, what can we expect coming out? Mid lane bans are out of the question for PSG, so probably jungle. Wukong still up and available. Viego could be actually banned, taken away from Steel. I think he is known for more his carrier-orientated junglers. So kind of nice there that he loses that aspect. I'm also going to lower that. So, as a whole, it's kind of surprising that Viego gets banned over Wukong right now. It probably could seem banned out. Top lane is still wide open. Blitz is actually going to get banned away. So, I'm intrigued. What could we see paired alongside that? Phelios, Braum, something a bit more supportive. Renata, still up and available. I could see that paired alongside the Aphelios very well, just to provide a bit more ability to get around. Or if you want to go PSG full dive on you and have Aphelios appeal, you can obviously use that. But I'm surprised PSG didn't ban out the Wukong, unless they're wanting Steel on that pick. But yeah, a bit surprising that. But yeah, draft so far looking fairly standard for what we've seen in the LEC. there's a bit more priority on the Annie, it seems, from other regions versus what Europe has. But, yeah, I'm intrigued by the draft so far. It's kind of stock standard, as I just said. But, I expect it to kind of be adapted over the year, or this tournament, to a bit more expressive. Cassante would make sense. You kind of then force like a carry top out of Toll. So the likes of Fiora, Jax, up and available, could get locked in. But apparently Toldu's a tank player, according to everything. If you've watched my predictions, you'll have known I haven't done much research because I haven't had time to on the tournament and what people have been playing. That's something we're going to build up as this tournament goes on, and it allows me to do my analysis a bit better, because fresh on-patch analysis is a lot better than past analysis, because players have bad patches. If you don't know, G2 had a very bad patch for qualifying to playoffs, and yet they still made it here due to winter, where they had a good patch and good form. So this first game, I'm intrigued. What I expect to see is a lot of focus on objectives. You look at the squad and the team PSG have drafted, it's a lot of dive. You got Nautilus, you got Vi, you got Ari, all wanting to go in with the Cassante as well. Aphelios is there just to be in the backline to stay safe and pump out as much damage as he can. He does have the green guns. He does have that ultimate to provide a bit of range. Even the white gun provides some sort of safety in front of him. So realistically speaking, I like the draft coming out from BSG. But as for DFM, they've got a lot of dive on their side too. Wukong and Malphite, the dive brothers with a Thresh. It's kind of a pick comp of sorts coming out from DFM. And it kind of is meant to isolate a target off here and kill them. Because they can essentially get on top of the Aphelios, pop him, and there's no real teamfight out from PSG because they do lack in damage, this Talon squad. And personally, we could see a fairly combative game in two differing sorts of, or similar, playstyles. Rune-wise, fairly standard across the board. It is going to be Conqueror Aphelios, which I'm intrigued by. Obviously wants to heal up and survive the initial engage. But I'm intrigued by a lot of things so far. Like, in how they're set up. So, they're both starting on the top half of the map. Junglers, this is. Red side start for Wukong. They're actually going to be starting in complete darkness. So, they're not tracking the start or the paths that the junglers are taking. Kind of surprises me, honestly. Because both are taking leashless starts. And in Europe, we're known for kind of these, we're going to track you sorts of styles. And we'll probably see it from G2 later on against Loud. But we like to kind of understand where you are on the map and follow you as they go on. Whereas this PSG squad and this DFM kind of aren't doing that. They've kind of not used the wards as a hook. Engage early on. Nice lockdown onto the Nautilus. He's going to take a chunk of damage. That was a good play. Probably would have taken and possibly burnt his flash if the hook landed. But it's actually also intriguing me. There's no heals on either bot lane. It's a cleanse on one side versus a ghost on the Jinx. And I'm surprised there's a ghost on that Jinx. Because The Vi will be diving onto her. The Charm coming out from Ari. You got Nautilus Hook. There's a lot of lockdown in CC on the side of PSG, so I think that's a bit of a mistake coming out from Unipon. However, he might think he can outplay it. He has actually, both ADCs started cool. Expecting to farm this one out. I'm kind of surprised. This is, I think, the first time I've VOD reviewed a international game. Like, games that don't involve the LEC. It surprises me what we see. Because you've got a lot of difference in styles already that I'm seeing. And early gank possibly coming out from Steel. Hook's gonna land. That's the go signal. The Chompers land. Here comes the Wukong. He's not gonna be able to kill it, I don't think. Good dredge line out by Woody. But look at Wacko. He's actually put Harp really low. So, as a whole, this is a really good play by PSG because you've kind of survived the gank. You get to stay in lane, realistically speaking. Jungler has to give up if you're on DFM's side, and you know where he is. PSG obviously get to steal away objectives now on the top half of the map. And this overall is really good for them as top side. That's the... might be flashback from Malphite if that landed. Good play. And once you know, Vi gets steal away the Raptors. Very good for her. Conquerors are procced. Vi is getting really low. Trader flashes, that benefits no one. Well, it benefits junglers quite heavily, but I think that's fair. Good trade. Obviously, Ari now has got her ult, so that favors her a little bit more. So, realistically speaking, I like that more for PSG, in the sense that she gets to play a bit more free. Now, we can look at the bot side. I see something pretty interesting. Aphelios is down to 46 stacks on the Cool versus the 75 on the Jinx. That's pretty high. It means that Cool came through quite a bit earlier on Aphelios. And he's able to clear her waves a bit easily because they're fairly similar in CS. It's just a slight more advantage over to Aphelios, so he's a bit further ahead on tempo. And I'm surprised that that has actually happened. Jungle, fairly even. So, game's kind of slowing down. I'm actually going to pause because I want to talk about something that really annoys me with international tournaments and the HUD. This bit isn't even. This bit isn't even. If you watch the LEC, it's even all the way across. It's built for just being easy to view and nicer on the eye. It annoys me, this HUD. And I thought maybe that they'd have the gold differences, like they go for the more advanced LEC sort of HUD. But they have not. They've got bits of it with the XP and levels, but it kind of surprises me that it's a step back. Like, every international tournament has a step back on the HUD, and it's not as good. So, yeah, that's a bit of a difference in my mind, as Cassante is proxy farming the wave. That's always nice to see on the map. So, let's retake stock of what has happened so far this game. No objectives have actually fallen. Vi, possibly looking for a gank here. It's going to be spotted out on vision. So has Yubao. But this is going to be turret plating over to the PSG bot lane. They were already ahead with the cull. They're now even further ahead with one plate already falling. Possibly two to the Cephalios. He's just able to shred the turret with the red-white gun. Perfect combination. It's very, very solid if you are a Cephalios player. So, actually, good roam up here. 8 minutes on the clock. And PSG have roamed up to this Herald. They've got tempo here already. Vi and not going to try and solo this together. But Steel and Arya, as well as Harp, are all in position to try and steal this one away. It would be a 3v3. Herald resets, so maybe not. As top side, Flash blown. That's huge. I think this still favors as Engage comes through onto Vi. That's going to be the entire Wukong combo. Going to get the... Going to get a lot of sums burnt there. Flash on both Wukong and Malphite for the flash onto the Vi. I think this still favors PSG as the Engage comes through. First blood, though, goes over to the Wukong. Backside of fight. Cassante is just shredding through the Annie. That's so many kills. I see on the Rift. Ari is going to get another kill. Hopefully. There we go. As that's 3 kills over to PSG. Wow. That is huge for PSG's early game. Herald also got stolen by PSG. Oh my. That's huge. Oh god. Wacko did not even move up for the Herald. He's just been hammering away on this turret. PSG's map movements, just so clean. It's so good right now. Woody's covering mid for Yubao, who respawns. This is just so clean. So, initially, we pause it up here. Doesn't look good for PSG, as 1, 2, 3 members are kind of locked up by the Thresh, who's flayed him back. And Woody's pretty much dead without being able to do much. He isn't even able to flash away. Now, on the other side, Vi going in onto the level 8. Annie, kind of stopping her from building up her stun. Kind of nice. That means that Azzy's able to kind of do stuff here, as well as Yubao. And that's another charm on top of it. So, the reason I say it's good that the Vi is killing off the Annie here is because she isn't able to build that stun. And Yubao, who's was kind of being harassed by the Thresh, is able to kind of create space for himself to use his Ari abilities. Because while you do want to be close up to land the maximum Qs and Ws onto a target, you do also want to be able to dodge around skills as well with your ultimate. Now the 1-for-1 trade comes through here with Vi killing off Malf and Wukong killing off Nautilus, but that's top laner for support. It's always favourable if you are PSG here, because I'm frozen, it appears. Hi, me. I'm gonna unfreeze myself. Have I unfreeze myself? I think I've frozen. Come on. Let me just unplug it. There we go. Is my face going to appear again? That would be good to know. There we go. Hi, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, 2 versus 3 is technically, well, it's 3v3 now. Tank top's gone, engage support's gone, but if we go back to where we started and what we were saying, essentially all of PSG want to dive on top of you. So as this fight goes on, Cassante gets a free and easy Annie kill because she takes the lantern on top of him, and Thresh is like, nah fam, we outie. But it's very lucky that Arya is able to get away for as long as he did, because just how much damage this Cassante can do early game. But yeah, it's just Yubao able to use his spells on the cooldowns and get the objective. And yeah, Herald gets taken away by Vi, which is nice, I would say. But right now, PSG are way ahead. This should be the giveaway that this ward's cleared out here by Wacko. That clearly DFM are around, because you would have seen the war timer on that one. I like that. They're also going to see that that burst was warded, meaning that they were clearly setting up a play, and as they all roamed out, it kind of indicates that Steel is still around in the bot side. Mid, Herald's going to be dropped. This is actually really quick. He's actually going to use that to transition into Drake. I like it. Obviously, Steel is still hovering around bot side. He's doing nothing. This is like 3 minutes. Not 3 minutes. About 40-50 seconds just sat in the bot lane doing nothing. Top side, suddenly just cancelling backs. Hilly style. But yeah. Drake picked up by PSG. Still don't know what Rift it is. Also, it's actually a very late Drake as a whole. And yeah, I'm intrigued. They've spotted out the gank coming out topside. But I feel DFM are quite slow to react to the plays that have been set up on the Rift so far. As PSG are controlling the tempo very easily. Like, I'm seeing nothing wrong out of how they've played this PSG. It's very, very slow paced. And I think the longer it goes, the more favourable it would become for DFM. With that Malphite in the top lane, probably going to become very unkillable if it goes like extremely long. But for now, PSG are in the driver's seat very easily for now. And I like what they've done here. Malphite has built armor. So they've actually stuck Yubao in his lane and to maximize damage onto Malphite to make him not be able to stick in that lane for long. And spoiler alert, range versus melee always favors ranged. As, wow, Wacko's just playing whack-a-mole with them turrets. He's able to clear that one up again. Trying to bait out the unstoppable force, but he's just not been given time to use the button. Flashes unnecessarily, I think. He also went in with his unstoppable force and not out. So it's kind of surprising as a whole. As... Oh. Harp just gets deleted. I should also point out, Jinx has not sold her call yet. And she's fully stacked it. She needs to back to sell that to get some gold, as that don't work. Huh. Can be honest, PSG doing good. I like it. I didn't expect him to be this dominant. Kind of expected a bit of a difficult game for them. As green-white do not fight. Because he just 1v1 solo bolos you with the Cleabrum. And the green gun. I forget what it's called. I forget the names of the guns. Cleabrum is the white one, I believe? Or is it the green one? Okay. I'm at the point in the game where we can start talking about items so far picked up. And my thoughts on them. I'm surprised Jinx has gone Kraken Slayer. She's not running cleanse. So realistically speaking, she has not got like safety from the dive that's going to come out from PSG. Udibon's basically relying on his positioning being better than the engage from PSG, and I don't think you can realistically do that in an international tournament. I think that's kind of bad overall from his build path perspectively. I mean, I get that you want to be in a head position, but you have been kind of behind all game. As Fire's going to go over the wall, force flash, good flash overall, but that's a great play out from PSG. If we think about it, I'm going to pause here. Yes, you lose the flash on the Vi, but you look at the engage tools available to DFM. They've got a hook and the Wukong diving headfirst in now. That's the only way. I mean, I guess Flash Tibbers or Flash W from Annie is an engage tool. But I'm going to be brutally honest. DFM blew their only hard engage for a Flash. I think that's pretty much worth for PSG, especially considering Drake is spawned. So that is almost certainly going over to them if they win this fight. Because we can see it coming. Look at how DFM is set up. They're set up in this sort of pincer-like maneuver. Harp's, I think, throwing a hook out right now. Probably going to miss. But Steel is going to come in from the side. He is spotted because Yubao has thrown out his spells towards it, trying to hit him with a charm. But we're just going to see how this plays out now. Never mind, it's just going to be Vi jumping on Wukong. And tussling around this vision. They're still continuing forward here, PSG. This is a bit of a surprise to me. Actually going to get Wukong's ult out as well. So yeah, that's Drake for free now to PSG if they want it. Wacko's going to transition over to it. Yeah, all of PSG's main Drake killing squad are over on it. I like it overall from PSG. Just force the fight before the Drake. It works for him. They've got themselves control on the Rift now, and honestly, it just means DFM are an even bigger deficit, especially now we know it's Infernal Soul. The power that DFM are now going to have to deal with from the Ari and the Cassante, as well as the Aphelios, is just so huge. Like, the burst potential, if this soul is claimed by PSG, obviously. I like it. This is, what we're seeing just reminds me of old TSM. I've said this before. The slow, methodical style that drags games out to wins by taking Drakes was how TSM used to play. And that style, it just seems to be working out for PSG. And I like it. There's been very little in terms of team fighting. There was one fight around Herald, and that just swung the game in favour of PSG. And basically since then, it's just been positioning around objectives, burning out spells, and then PSG taking something from it. DFM haven't been able to get anything with how PSG have kind of just suffocated them out on the map. As tempo has always favoured PSG, like Herald's now being dropped in the top lane. It won't get to tier 2, but you look how the rest of the map is shaped up. They drop Herald top to try and crash and put pressure in up there, with Yubao hovering around top to kind of get more pressure up. It forces then DFM to go up top. While DFM are going up top, the 3-man squad of PSG have gone to mid lane and are already killing the tier 2 there. And spoiler alert, bot lane is pushing in favour of PSG. So they're looking to continue to pressurize the map as every single second of the game goes on. Baron's now spawning. And I think that's the next logical step for PSG, is force summoners out here. Never mind, they're going to get caught out. That's Vi dead. But they burnt everything there, DFM. I paused there for a reason. You burnt your engage with the Malphite ult. And you also burnt Flash on Annie. And while, yes, you're killing off the Cassante, never mind. DFM are just clearing the rift. That was a good fight. I would try and... I get what they're doing. They have to kill in tier 1 mid to get some objective mounting gold. And I don't know if you could really force Baron here if you're DFM. But vision is sparse. If I was Thresh, I'd be looking to get some vision down into this river as soon as possible. Good hook. Into Lash engages. Just a lot burnt there to kill off the Vi I was originally going to say, but it was worth it. They get 2 kills. Sums are technically down, but still, DFM have no vision around this Baron pit. You had the opportunity there to get some. I'm surprised they didn't. But minute remaining until Drake. Probably going to see them set that up. But yeah, vision reclaimed around this Baron pit by PSG.
don't like forcing 5v5 because, like, on one end of the spectrum is T1. You know, they will start any Baron, no matter who's alive, the vision control, they'll start a Baron if they feel like it. PSG on the far side is, even if they have vision controls, they feel like DFM might face check.
It still feels very slow. They got Jinx ult there. That's a dead net. Nautilus. Malphite ult goes wide. Sante's caught. But I think he can get out of that. He does. Vi gets a kill onto Jinx. Oh no. Sante's still alive. Everyone is dying. Oh, good. Good cleanse. Reason I knew Cassandra could get out of that was I thought he'd ult over the wall with someone. Instead, he just ults towards his turret and flashes. Different way to get out. But, I'm just going to say this right now. Bomba. That was a clean fight for PSG in some respects. 4v5 and they still win it. It's a good play. No damage on this DFM squad once Jinx dies, I should point out. And Jinx, I don't like her build. So the rocket gets burnt there. That's kind of a go signal for PSG to kind of make a play. Because now there's no way that DFM could check the Baron. And while, yes, Drake's spawning, I think that how this initially plays out with Nautilus getting caught out and burned, you should realistically, if you're DFM, take that, go for Drake, set up, and just make it impossible for a steal. There's no way for Vi to essentially get in and out of the pit unless she burns Flash, which is actually on cooldown. So I like this more from DFM if they just peel back to objective here. And instead, they just dive headfirst into Jinjae and Azzy. And I'm not a big fan of that. Because Flash avoids the Malphite ult. That's what this fight has been doing all game. Is flashing the Malphite ult. And just getting away with it every single time. And so, I personally think that it's a misplay out from DFM here. As Jinx still is only hitting minions. She's not actually killing the target. Good death sentence. This would be where I'd assume Cassante would go with his ult over this wall once that stun wears out. But he gets a... Oh! He hits a 3-man Q. Vi comes over, pops in. You got Yubao just able to freely hit. That is just damage. Big ultimate coming out from Aphelios as well. And yeah, this is just clean from PSG in an overextension from DFM, who are actually trying to get this objective right now. Vi is fighting off Malphite. The Drake resets. Charm's gonna land. But Wukong's down. No smite on the side of DFM now. PSG are either going to continue to chase the kills, or they're just going to turn immediately to this Drake. Never mind, they're just going to kill everyone. Everything dies. Triple kill for the Ahri. Make that everyone dying to the Ahri with a quadra kill. What a clean fight out from this PSG squad. That feels like game. 22 stacks Medjais. Yikes. So, game 2 should already be in the minds of DFM, unfortunately. This game's over. It's such a massive gold lead. They've just been suffocated out. I'm surprised Vi goes on to Mouth. I get that she's trying to burn the ultimate from him, which she gets. Oh, lovely dodge by Yubao on the Malphite ult. But just damage. I'm annoyed that there's no pentakill first game, because Cassante steals a kill. But everyone dies. Clean fight. Yeah, and they know it's over. You know it. You've got to go into this next match like fully reset. You've realised that this style that PSG have played is very suffocating, so you need to come in with a new sort of draft. Possibly index more into damage. You've got a lot of bulk and not enough like DPS over the time. And it kind of is, you can tell there by Vine taking nothing from 3 members. It's very little. I think Tol2, I know he's been touted as more of a tank player, but I'd rather see a Fiora or a Jax out from him if he's going into a Cassante, because it just feels like he's useless this game. As he's just been relegated to 0, like, engage. Like, he's not been realistically hitting the Unstoppable Force like he should do. And as such, he's basically doing nothing. Now, it feels like formality, the rest of the turrets have got to fall. But they're going for a flank. The Malphite is behind. He locks up the Aphelios, but there's no follow-up. They're still all diving him. They finally got him down, but 1 kill for 1 is the trade so far. Jungler killing off Jungler. Cassante just is able to burst out the Jinx. There's no more AD carry. That's game. TPing into the base. Yeah, oh. Annie could do damage, but... Oh, that's Cassante pretty much dead. Oh, turret doesn't even kill him. Never mind, I don't know damage. This is just a good game 1 out from PSG. And they're not ending. How do you not end? It feels slow for the sake of being slow. Like, there's no risk from this PSG style. And I mean, I get it. You've got Soul spawning in a minute. You take that. There's Baron up as well. You get that. They'll just push and end. That's the style I expect to see. Oh, lovely hook out from Woody. Stops the Annie, like, engage onto Aphelios, which gives enough time for the Infernum to get put out. The Infernum, like, Vigil, I should say. So he gets a lot of damage down here. Does Wacko. And as such, it means that the rest of PSG are able to just clean up the fight. It was a good play overall from PSG yet again. From just Nautilus outplaying the stun combo. But yeah, Baron's just being shredded. Pretty much. No point in looking at that objective. It feels nice. They're going forward here, DFM. But Vi's behind. She's looking for the Jinx. They've got on top of her. That's death. Everyone will fall to the hands of PSG. Good night. They don't even need the Baron. They could go take Soul. I mean, pad your stats out. But yeah, great play coming out from PSG here. It was clean. And that's going to be game.
Very clean early game and then an explosive
They're even taking... Oh, God, it's clean. Great play, honestly. Game 1, solid. We're going into game 2. That's where my mind is. We'll skip through this. Believe it or not, I had a quick look. See, this is where I kind of looked at MSI the first time today. I had a brief look at work, and this is the my bit that I saw. Everything else has just been kind of stock standard. So draft-wise, let's have a look at it. Same bands coming out from DFM, and it's actually PSG making a rotation of the bands. They're the ones to ban the Vi. So clearly taking away that. Ari's going to be trade though. I like that from DFM as a slow upbeat, well not upbeat, slow beat music, honestly. Nice. And yeah, it's actually going to be Diego picked up for PSG. That got banned out by them in game number 1. So, as a whole, I like it. Obviously, with PSG banning out the Vi, Zeri does kind of rise back up in priority. So that gets locked in. Lulu, obviously up and available. Probably, I don't know, do you lock that in now to go alongside her? Or you pick it in your second rotation? It's personal choice, honestly. I think getting a better jungler before it gets banned out is the idea here for DFM. Instead, which is what they do. PSG, LeBlanc was banned out game 1. Annie, though, TF, yeah. I'm intrigued what PSG will go for here, because there's a lot on the table. Ooh. Obviously with the Ari, yeah, Lissandra makes sense, because she's obviously a good champion to stop Diari from dashing around in fights. You just lock her down with the ultimate, and then you can get an easy W and Everfrost combo onto her if you go for that. Probably won't, because Rod of Ages has taken over president of that mythic slot. And yeah, draft so far looking fairly standard. PSG going to remove the Lulu as the caveat to picking up the Wukong. Top lane still not been picked up. Maybe we see a Cassante ban by DFM here, because PSG just found it very easy topside to get a lead against Toltu, and he didn't look that comfortable on the Malphite against Cassante. It felt very much so when it came to the fights in the late game. He was bullied out, and PSG are kind of forcing the hand, because probably here PSG lock Cassante regardless of what you kind of go for here, because it's just an easy blind pickable top, and then they counter pick support. DFM actually going to ban Nah, which I understand. Top lane at least is getting a ban thrown towards it, but personally I would prefer the Cassante picked up here and not a Malphite. I need a drink though. So, Gragas. Never mind, it's not even going to be the Cassante. Actually, that makes a bit more sense. With Viego in jungle, you kind of have to get some AP in the top side, because Lissandra is very low AP damage, in a sense that she's more so there for her utility than her spells. And I'm frozen again, I think. I am in a really bad position. Gonna unfreeze myself.
better of the matchup. Obviously,
He says.
Malphite last time, but Asante really took it down. It kind of reminds
I
me of
look so dopey right now.
years ago, where he was like, "Oh, I know
Jesus.
this is my favorite champion in the game gets killed by someone." He's like, "This is the best champion in the game gets killed by someone else. This is the best." You know, like that's
There we
exactly
go.
what he's doing.
We're back.
Back to the Kassadze? Okay, I'm gonna play Kassadze myself.
I hate this, how it's working. I'm going to actually put this here. There we go.
Did drop off a little bit, but still played
So,
somewhat. Obviously, a very strong team fighting champion. You still have the hook as well.
what do we see so far?
A lot of the buffs for the rest of the
I got a bit distracted there.
kind of feels like what DFM's gonna go for.
Renata makes sense. Actually, does it? Yeah, actually it does. Blitz hook. Blitzcrank though.
We'll be seeing a lot more of this champion.
I like that.
Powerful, it feels
I like it a lot.
I thought it was going to be half. I was wrong on that one, but we still do get that Blitzcrank. I'm here for it. Woody, bringing it out. There's a snake in his boots today, that is for sure. Oh, no. But we'll see what PSG's going to bring. But I'm curious, especially with the Renata in the mix here. Like, talk me through the DFM composition. Like, how do you go about
I'm intrigued by DFM's comp.
No, it definitely feels a little
The reason being is because I don't see much synergy between that bot lane and the rest of the map. It feels very anti-synergistic in some cases. I mean, I get how you combo Renata ult Wukong together, but the rest of the comp, it feels very there's no like set goal. It's, I guess, to team fight you, but there's no like wombo combo together. Whereas you look at how PSG have drafted, you have the Blitz hook that follows up on the Lissandra engage, and you then have just Diego for raw damage output. Gragas Cask also works well in terms of disengaging. There's a lot of good combinations out from PSG in team fighting, more than what I see from DFM. But Blitz hook is always a factor we have to consider, and Blitzcrank always wants to be ahead. I need to get an emote. Got him. Anyway. Let's go. Looking at the ruins as they're nicely showing us. Unsealed Spellbook. Both mid lanes. Guardian Renata. I like it. They're all standard, let's be honest. Nothing in particularly stands out. Looking at summoners, it's Ghost, Seri. I mean, I get it. You want to kill. I'm still more of a... I favour the cleanse in this situation. But, no, it's just going to be complete and utter death, let's be honest. As just looking at how we're setting up, fairly standard overall. Jungle starting on the red side. And... oh, never mind. It's not standard. It's actually going to be the Viego getting an invade off early, just stealing away the objectives. This is adaptation from game 1. Viego's just able to steal away the bottom half of the map because they were able to understand the path start that Steel went for in game 1 as top side. Ozzy almost dies. Bot side, bit of a fight as it's a 3v2. Blitz hook. Not going to be used. Or it hit a minion, I couldn't tell. DFM getting a good early trade though, I have to admit. They are able to get a lot of damage down top. And bot side, the 2v3 somehow still went in their favour. Steel, look at this try and steal away camps. he doesn't know that Junjai has no smite. So they're probably going to try and trade away here. Blitz, though, is the ever-growing presence on this rift that, once is shown here, Steel has to kind of give it up. He has to give this objective up because he knows that Blitz is going to just keep hovering here in a position that can just keep him back. I like it out from Woody. However, what has happened is Wacko actually has gone early cull in comparison to Zari yet again. Is going to stack that one up for himself. Always a good way to build up tempo. As just some solid trading come out from DFM early here. And finally, Junja is spotted topside. Steel trying to steal away camps. Isn't going to get any. He only got one of the minis. So Steel going to take away or close that CS gap that Viego has built up on him.
I gotta tell you, Joe, you're not selling me too hard. It's really tasty, okay? They like write little words on the inside of it. It's wow, cute. Yeah. look, I don't work for TripAdvisor. This is not my forte. You have been my tour guide kind of since I've arrived here. You've taken me out to dinner quite a few times. But all right, DFM taking the PSG.
Anyway,
on here. I'm very happy to see.
This is
having a slightly better performance.
a bit of a different. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to break out from the analysis point of me and just talk about this so far. It's a bit weird for me because usually I watch the games by myself. As Viego is going to root, going to get the flash out, good stun. Out by Junjai. As bot side, Blitzhawk appears to have hit onto Udapon. But yeah, it's a bit weird, because I never really watch the games with people. It's usually just me on my own. I'm actually just gonna do that. I think that's a bit better. For me. So I'm not covering up anything. But yeah, let's talk about it. What we're seeing so far. Early Drake this time. That's a huge thing from PSG. This kind of accelerates them a bit more than what they had last game. I like it. Just get the tempo ahead early. Now, whether or not we see a continued tempo from PSG like they had in game 1, I guess, is hard to tell from this point on. It's very early in the game, 6 minutes in, only on the clock. Blitz is hovering, gonna actually land a good hook. That's a lot of lockdown. Clen's burnt by Aphelios. The trading back from DFM is huge. Renata W is going to be put on for speed. And Blitzhook, never mind. Just a big bursting auto takes down Woody. Good play. Coming out from DFM to turn back the damage. Still going to be spotted out here. I mean, initially it's a good hook coming out from Woody, but Udapon remained untouched through the entirety of that. And he was just able to fire in the burst comboing out from Renata passive and the auto from Zeri meant Blitz just dies. I mean, initially you could see that play going over to PSG, but Zeri just feels a lot stronger at this point, as Viego forced to use his E or W, I forget which one. No, it's his E. To go invisible and get away. Blitz is just hovering. And in a bad position, I have to admit. Gonna get... Yeah, he's dead. Pretty bad positioning there from Woody. And DFM able to punish. As... He flashed. I'm intrigued. Good play from DFM. They're continuing to keep the tempo ahead. 1.5k goal lead in favor of DFM right now. And the gold is sitting across all their members, really. Everyone's been involved in everything. Especially that Renata. All 3 kills she's been involved in. And that just means that she's able to stay ahead of the competition. Snowball get the Zeri ahead with the minimalistic advantages that Renata can get. But important to note, Viego is going to reclaim the Herald for himself. And yeah. Should be Herald over to PSG, as Woody just gets caught. The cast was a good idea, but Ari's just able to chase down very easily a flashless blitz. Then we just have Toltube just being Cassante, and I thought this flash was a bit weird. I didn't realize it was to pull the Viego into a position where he's closer to this Renata. And then Gragas just tries to protect his jungler and faces the consequences for it. Simply put, good play out from DFM. They're raising the tempo above this slow-paced sort of demolition that PSG want to play. And as such, it just means that they're able to continue to harass down and stop anything that PSG want to do. Now, PSG can quite easily slow the tempo down to get to their favor with that Herald. They can kind of overload a part of the map. And with how DFM were game 1 and how slow they were to react to things, honestly, PSG could get away with this. That's a lockdown on the Ahri. Wukong's getting taken low. Zeri's just not able to do much. He actually gets the objective though. But look at the damage coming out from Wacko. Gonna be forced to flash. Gragas is finally here as Zeri things is happening. Double kill over to Udapon. Just Zeri things. She still seems broken. This TP comes out by Yubao to get away. I'm surprised in terms of how that went. What we can take stock, 2 kills picked up by PSG there, which is huge for them in keeping the goal close. Drake, however, went over to DFM, so there's no real snowball or control of objectives for them anymore. As this initially okay, this is interesting. So we'll go back. The initial play is kicked off with Arya getting locked up by Yubao, and I understand what Woody wants to do here. He's gonna flash, and he's aiming for this Ahri so that he can essentially pull her into the 3 members of PSG and lock up an easy kill. Instead, he pulls the Wukong who's ulting, like initial ult, through Junjai, meaning it kind of Ari gets to run and instead steals the target. Now, Renata only hits onto 1, so that's why we don't see that much in terms of like peel on the DFM side, but Steel just gets collapsed on. Actually, I think he smites there. Yeah, he isn't actually killed off, meaning he can smite that. And Junjai also went in to try and smite the objective. Instead, yeah, he's dead. So there's 1 kill over to DFM. On the other side of Rift, Arya is just getting chased out. Still doesn't die. Meanwhile, Steel gets put into Renata W passive. He dead. And yeah, Unibond just flashing over, killing things, as you do. And Ari dies on the other side. This is honestly quite a close fight. If Gragas was there, you could definitely see this being PSG favoured. As Renata just pushes the Herald out from charge range. It's going to actually come through now. And there you go. Plate's over to PSG. That's actually kept this goal close. 1k, 1.3k between 2 teams is still a very close goal lead. Now, Chemtank Soul is the prize for both teams, which is obviously the weakest soul in the game. Now, I could see DFM, honestly, not even claiming it, because it's not that powerful. And maybe they deny a couple more Drakes, or they do try and take it, let's be honest. You probably want the soul, just so that PSG cannot snowball it. But yeah, it's not the best, I feel, for either team. So, turrets, plates, even across the rift, which is nice. But, Zeri gonna go for the, what's it called? Immortal Shield Bow. I like it. You obviously get the lifesteal as well as the shielding. However, you're going against the Blitz. I possibly would have preferred maybe Kraken Slayer here for the Zeri. You kind of... I don't think you'll be able to utilize that shield effectively with Blitz in your comp. In their comp, I should say. I'm also intrigued by Zeri, who is 2 CS away from completing the call. So she is kind of behind in that sense, in my opinion. There we go. So hopefully this wave will get pushed out on the turret. Zeri will reset because she's got gold to spend. 8 seconds until Herald. And 50 until Chemtank Soul. Or Drake. That's the Cyclone used by Wukong. Looking to kill off Blitz, but the Empower Blast Cone gets him out to safety. Turret's pretty easy here for DFM, forcing PSG back. after a lot of damage put down onto Woody. Drake should be a good rotation here as well. But look at PSG. They're already in the dragon area. Like, I would have thought the tempo that DFM would have had from taking bot lane tier 1 into Drake would be enough to secure this. But instead, PSG just force it. Like, it's insane. Like, it's insanity to me, because if you watch LEC games, you would just expect, like, G2 are synonymous for making play top, transition into Herald, and doing similar things with Hans Sammer in the bot lane. Here, it's weird. But yeah, they get Herald, which is a consolation, I guess. I still want... Zeri is yet to back. Still holding on to the call. See, I just see the call as 300 gold. It feels weird that she's holding on to it. And not taking it back yet. Like, probably looking to buy up her Phantom Dancer. Like, straight up. Or Hurricane or IE. Like, your second item straight up. But, like, it feels like you're losing tempo. Because you just had a Herald and a possibility of a fight. Similar with the Drake. And you're just behind tempo on this Aphelios. She's just clearing camps. Like, it feels like a waste. Like, you could have honestly have backed, then taken red. Like, she's now backing after taking red. So it feels kind of a waste of the buff, honestly. Unless she's gonna go bot. But she's not. You've got your Phantom Dancer now, which is fair enough. But I think you're losing tempo if you're DFM here. You just aren't min-maxing at all. And as such, Zari just feels a bit behind. Like, I get your aim here is to get closer to third Drake, fourth Drake of the map. Drop Herald. Or drop Herald, open up mid turret. But a fight looks to be a brewing. The CP comes through by Arya. But look at the Gragas flank. It looks super good. Lyssandra's going to lock him down. That's the Infernum. Cask puts Zeri under turret, but it just seems dumb. It's very little focus out from PSG here. PSG not even getting the right target, I feel. I mean, I understand the play because you want to kind of counteract their Herald drop, but it just seems like he threw away this Baron. So we watch this again. It's just flash, lock up, onto Steel. But here's where Ozzy just comes in. It's way too late. And Wacko's dead to the Cassante. And while you use all the Gragas combo onto the Zeri, which is the right target, there's no follow-up. It's so late, and I think it's a misplay coming out from Yubao going a bit too early. And that's given over Baron to DFM. And yeah, this just seems game 2 is just controlled by DFM through PSG mistakes. Like, early level 1 trade, well, trading between bot lanes has given Udapon an advantage due to an overstep from Blitz. It feels a little bit of mismatch in communication with the Gragas and the Lissandra. The good thing for PSG is that they have 2 Drakes. And DFM aren't rotating down to take this third one, as they know they've got a minute left on their Baron. So there just should be... They're going to kill off the Gragas pretty easily. Seems a bit of a misplay in terms of his positioning. Cassante stepping way too far forward, it seems. I'm voice cracking as Blitz just gets deleted. I retract my statement. Cassante stepping up. And Harold. Not Harold. Drake the prize for DFM. Slows the game down still. Yeah, pretty easy. Good lockup by Renata to get that kill. And just, he was able to get out with the ult as well. That's clean. By the Cassante. Personally, yikes. This game's, I would say, slowing down, which does favour PSG in some sense, because it means you can get back into the game a bit more, kind of like how DFM could have in game 1. However, DFM felt like squeezed out the map in that one. There was no real like vision gained by them, and turrets were like minimal. They didn't take that many. This game, PSG have got vision, like in the bot side. It's not much, like in terms of turret taking, but they're going very hard into this Wukong. Oh, lovely Renata. They're gonna be able to kill off the Aphelios. That's 2 kills. That's a good play by DFM. Renata was perfect onto the Aphelios. Forces a cleanse out of him as well, and Gale Force. Didn't burn Flash. Sandra is going to use both her stuns to try and... statuses, I should say, to get away, but dies. Look at the KDA of these Zari. 6 out of 5. She basically has all the gold, but she also has an Ari for damage in this game, so she isn't the only threat, which is good for her. So if essentially PSG catch her out, essentially there is Arya there to be the secondary damage needed to kind of win the fights. And a pause. I'm just going to fast forward through these pauses. How long is the pause? Oh, it seems fairly long. It's only 3 minutes. Into the game we go. So back live, Baron spawning. And... yeah. Drake in a minute. I need to point out, it feels like that break could do PSG some good. They're actually grouped as 5. 3 members of DFM looking for a flank here though with Casante. Locking down someone. Blitz not going to get hooked. Good Gragas Cask to deal with Desiree. I'm just listening to Mark Z here, and I kind of agree with what he was saying about no ult coming out from Cassante. Renato only hits no one. Or basically hits no one as the re-engage. That's a massive Infernum. PSG are turning the fight. Viego reset City. What? What? We're gonna watch this again. So, I get the initial engage is Renato. They're baiting in PSG to basically get hit by a Renato because they're forced down this choke. But that was a bit of a giveaway that there's something fishy going on. Now, I mean, that's the front line of PSG. Oh, I see it. This is the issue. DFM turn early, I think. Renato isn't in effect yet. I'd probably, if I was DFM, waited a couple more seconds. Because the Renato has only just been fired. It's late. Shirelli isn't even available to DFM. So, the Shirelli is bursted by PSG here. It's great play by Woody, honestly. It means that they're able to just run away from the Renato. And although the Gragas does get hit by the Renato, his nearest target's Viego, who's walking away as well. So this is always good for PSG. Now, yes, they do lock up the Gragas. He isn't the easiest to kill. He's quite bulky. And you just look right now at what's happened. Look at all the spells available to PSG. You don't have Renato anymore on this side. So there's no real lockup other than Wukong for DFM. So that's a lovely Everfrost as well. And Wacko's just free hitting. He's full health. The rest of his team's kind of been punished, but like the Infernum, oh, that's clean. Such a clean combo as the re-engage from PSG is just so good. I love it. It's just demolition and great play coming out from the Aphelios. Just means that everyone dies. And Baron goes over to PSG. That's their get back into this. They are 6k gold behind, but the objective bounty and Baron takes them in to 3k behind. That's huge. But yeah, great play coming out for PSG to turn this. I'm intrigued by how Gragas gets so close so quick. He casts and just gets kill. Fair enough. It's just clean. Wacko carrying his team on his back. We kind of knew he had a bit more tempo early game. But Udapon got into it. He's still a threat. And that's the whole point. It's interesting. PSG have Baron, and their immediate priority is that Drake. it's not pushing out the map. And yes, you do see pressure in topside for it, and a tier 2 turret to DFM. In fact, DFM still control the map, which is understandable with the Baron. Just there as kind of this equalizer to the game, I've got to say it. The gold lead is kind of being dragged back to an even state. It's slowly but surely, but you have to realize this. What PSG have done is they've sacked like lane pressure in mid and top just so that they could get that Drake. That's what I've noticed from this game so far. And so how do we expect this to turn out? So PSG obviously won the latest fight through clean macro and positioning and possibly mistakes out from DFM. And now I start to question what else do PSG need to do other than win the next fight in order to win this game. Because yes, they're down quite a bit of gold, but we're getting to a point where gold becomes less and less value. ADCs are on 3 items, so they're realistically on their power spike. In fact, 4 for the Zeri versus 3 for the Aphelios. There isn't actually much safety on Wacko. He hasn't got a stopwatch like Udemon. And so that makes it interesting for next upcoming fight, because I assume what Zeri's going to turn that stopwatch into is a GA. And that's going to be intriguing to see if she gets it before the next fight. Because that would definitely mean that DFM could put a bit more pressure on the map. They can play with a bit more aggression because there is that safety net for their main damage. Excuse me, I am very tired. I'm actually going to sit back a bit. I need to get comfy. I've been sat on my feet, so this is weird. So I'm actually going to just turn to the side a bit more so I can lean back. There we go. And a mic comes to me. Hello. Jinjai, this is clever. So what he's doing is he's trying to basically stop DFM having direct access into this half of the map, aka the Dragon Pit. Reason is, he doesn't want to allow him to set up vision. And that's clever. Like, yeah, you're behind and you're not that threatening, but you kind of do it so that DFM have a pathway without being spotted onto the actual Drake. And I like it. It's clever. Woody's just running it. It's clever. I like what they're doing. They've now forced their way into the Dragon Pit. It's clever, because you also threaten deep wards now. And TP's just become a bit more threatening. Although Lysandre's is technically in Summer's spellbook right now. And Gragas does have his. Like, there's a lot of TPs available to either team. Like, their tops and mids have it, but yeah. Drake's up in 20 seconds. PSG controlling the area very well. And that's a hook onto the Wukong. He's trapped in the pit. DFM don't have much in terms of spells. Hook's gonna go wide. And now Dragon, there's no way of stopping Viego from attacking this unless you fight. And yikes, Tutol's dead. Viego's in the pit, trying to get onto the Wukong, stopping him from getting near this Drake. That's status popped. If you are DFM, you try and kill that, but instead it's Soul over to PSG. Lissandra re-engages, status burnt, and good night, Arya. This is just PSG's world, and they've cleared you out of it. Great fight overall from PSG. They made it scrappy as they needed to. They just split DFM so well. I like that fight. Baron's the prize as well as Soul. It feels so good out from PSG here. It looks good. Like, from a losing position, they've clawed themselves back into this. Like, back-to-back Barons and Soul. So I wanted to see what happens to Udapon. So he goes over the wall into the Gragas, and that's clever. Azzy just makes it so Udapon is not involved. Like, he casts him away. And yeah, Udapon uses Z to go over the wall to try and come in from the side. Gragas just plays as well. It means that Junjai is able to kill off Toll 2. Now, realistically, the only frontliner for DFM is the Wukong. And he is pretty low. Actually, he's up there. Now, all of Zeri's sums are burnt. So is Aphelios, but like, sums wise, yeah, you could say DFM are in a better state. But team fight wise, I still think PSG have a lot more to burn than what PSG do. And Junjai goes straight onto Steel, trying to burn him out of this fight. And yeah, Steel's forced to run away from the pit. It's now flash belly bop onto the Zeri. Means that she's not able to deal with this. Gragas has locked it down. Yubao's here. Oh, that's Zeri's dead. Pretty much. Oh, that's clever as well. Body blocking the Drake. Yeah, free and easy. And stuck in the pit. Good night to Udapon. The green chakram stacks. Clean out from Wacko. Shutting down everyone. Great fight from PSG. And that's pretty much game. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, because I don't think anything will happen. That damage chart, though. Felios is ahead by a lot. He hasn't got good turret killing guns. He would really need a red gun to be a threat. Kasane is so annoying. Finally, PSG have a gold lead this game. 4 items onto Wacko versus the 5 of the Zeri still. That's a full build, actually, Zari. Udapon's so far ahead. But, yeah, turrets just get shred now. And this is just a lot of standing gold on the map that PSG are able to clear up. It's a bit annoying that they haven't cleared topside, which is what they've gone to do now. Because they don't have 3 pushing waves, as DFM have done a good job to kind of minimalize this Baron. Like, yeah, it's a 3k Baron that they've given up, but it's 2 outer turrets they've lost. That's all it is. They've managed to maintain a base, and that means that they're able to continue to fight. Gold lead that PSG have managed to get for themselves is minimal. You've already got a full build ADC. It's pretty much just an even fight, whatever we see now. Actually, I just realized GA got sold, I think, by Zari. Because that stopwatch is no longer there. Did he even buy his GA? I didn't see it in the fight. So, who knows? Let's be honest, who knows? Oh, you went for the wrong target. Oh, there we go. So, game slowed down yet again. I'm starting to notice a trend with PSG. If the game's slow, they tend to win it. I'm intrigued how they do against G2. Because G2 seem like a very quick team. If they're winning. But, yeah. Feels weird that Elder is on the Rift. A 40-minute game, Jesus. This is a great way to start my MSI run. I'm loving it. I'm already losing my voice, by the way. Looking at waves. Top side. Still, like, it's evenish, so it's not going to push too much. I think it's still pushing in favor of DFM, which is an issue for PSG, as that was a bit of a weird charm coming out from Arya. Not going to hit anything. Everfrost locks up a target, but PSG continuing to harass. They've still maintained control of the pit. And they've got so much ability to get in. Toll 2's going very aggressive, alling out already. That seems way too early. Because look, PSG are just going to back away. They're playing this well here, PSG. They're just forcing out abilities and putting them on cooldown so DFM can't really contest. Toll2's TPing back in. Not on a flank, however, because PSG have just controlled their river, not allowed a flank position. As once again, he's back in, but like, that's a bit of a whiff on the Renata ult, as everything is just being burnt. Aphelios is down. Unipon is dead. Oh, the statuses mean he's not able to fight this anymore. Oh, good play coming out from PSG to kind of counter it. As Lissandra gets onto the backside. But everyone is dying. Gragas is the only one alive. DFM. Wow. That's Elder. They should be able to pick up this health. What a fight by DFM. Burst out the carry. I thought PSG had it with all their statuses and how well they played around it, but damn. We watch this again. Toll 2 just goes in. He TP's back in, goes, woo! We're going flying straight across this fight. And it just it's surprising because he'd look at where Wacko is in terms of the objective. He's just been pushed back. And while, yes, this Cassante gets taken low, the Renata hits nothing. And on the other side, Charm hits onto Junjai. Hughes force flash in. Wukong goes in aggressive, actually. Trades his GA for the life of Wacko, which I like, as Unipon is just able to free fire in realistically for a lot of it until he's not, let's be honest. Because Azi turns directly onto him with Junjai, and they just try and burst him out, and they do a good job here, what Azi does, and locks him up. I like this from PSG because they go into status at the same time, but Junjai's kind of left on his own here as the rest of his team goes into status, as PSG are just able to get onto Baron. That's so... The burn. Oh. I mean, yeah, you stop the Baron. Like, you get the Baron. That's weird. You kind of... that's actually huge for PSG. You take away one of the power plays that realistically should have been free for DFM. Because they got Elder. They could have translated that over into Baron. But instead, it's PSG getting a very good Baron pickup. I mean, you trade support for Baron. I'll take that any day of the week. It means you can kind of survive the push that DFM want to be putting down on you with empowered minion waves. It's, I think, favors DFM at PSG. Elder's up, or not, it's still up for another minute and a half. So DFM could honestly look for a fight here. They managed to pick out Junjai. They're locking him up. That's so many spells put down on him and Elder's going to kill him off. Oh, Wacko's going to kill him off. That's a dead Wukong. Aphelios is just able to fire him with the long-range guns. He's got the perfect combo to kind of deal with PSG. As Woody's charging forward, you can't really run into the Aphelios, though. Arya hits the charm. That's a dead Blitz again. But look, Cassante's dead to the Aphelios. Oh, this is scrappy. DFM are playing this way too scrappy. You're giving over 3 kills to the Aphelios. I mean, yeah, he's full build, but DFM kind of are giving up pressure. Now, 30 seconds on the Elder, you could have honestly looked to have fought there. Like, gone stupidly aggressive, fought, possibly dove onto Wacko. He hasn't got GA. Kill him off, and then you're able to end the game. That should have been the play here for DFM. Instead, they've wasted the Elder Drake and gotten, realistically, nothing. They sent so much into Junjai that it feels wasted. I mean, yeah, Aphelios is free hitting onto everything and forces the status onto Lissandra. But, yeah. PSG just seem in the seat still. They still seem to have control even though they're losing. I mean, DFM, I think now have to deal with it. Like, yes, Baron is timing out, but PSG should always have pressure. Oh. Now I feel we're in an ARAM. It's weird. I'm just gonna say it. This game has been dragged out long by PSG. DFM weren't able to capitalize on the early game power that they got. And it surprises me. Maybe it's nerves. Maybe it's just skill. Coming out from PSG, I'm surprised how this game's gone. Blitz hook. Hits the cut. I thought possibly could have been a real one. No, I didn't. It's kind of obvious it was a clone. Lissandra goes forward. She's locking down Renata. Forced to ult herself. Gonna go into status. Renata ult kind of wasted yet again. I mean, Zeri's gonna pick up a kill. The Aphelios gets a kill. Oh! 2 kills. All I've seen so far. ADCs are just keeping these fights interesting. Like, the minimalistic fights that we get between 2 teams, they're more skirmish heavy. Oh, he hits the hook! He's dead. Never mind. He's alive. He's gonna get crooks. Gragas is going to come over. Gragas has found him. That's the dead jungler. Zeri's on her own. Zeri is caught. Unipon's down. That's game. Yeah. That was a weird fight. Renata, finally a decent Renata ult. I just realized Renata ult with Elder, like if you hit a person who has Elder, if they hit, they burn their team and kill them. That's huge. Oh, good hook again. Kill City by Wacko. And wow. PSG demolish their opponents. My throat is dead. But we've got at least another 2 games. We've got G2 versus someone. LJL, LLL, or Loud. That's our next game. I'm hype. Here we go. We're going to skip forward. To here. It feels like the exact same thing as the first game, but I think it's going to be cooler for G2. But I'm going to first do something. I'm going to end the stream and then restart it with a couple of bits of changes. So I'll see you in a couple of seconds.